Excellent. All right, it's Monday afternoon. You okay, bud? You're gonna have to leave it alone for a little bit. All right, just hit the button. My son's actually telling me his tooth is loose, but it's been loose for a while, so we're trying to play it by ear on that front. Cool. You gonna join me? All right. So, I've got the mutual fund site up. Actually, the GitHub page itself, not the site. The site is actually over here. And I have one thing I'm going to be working on today, which is, here we go. Ooh, that should be. That's taking some time. Yeah. So the one thing I am going to work on today, that image took a bit to load. Actually, I should actually add something to. Well, I don't know how one-to-one it matches and how images are actually embedded. But anyway, I'll look into that later. But the one thing I did want to work on is getting this Twitch chat. So basically, I've got everything I want on the mutualfun.live site working, other than, I guess, two things I need. Two things are going to be the links, which the links are added to every post, which could be redundant if I just added them to the header. So I think what I want to do is actually, I will do that today, but I'm going to add some links to the header similar to what I have in the footer here. And then the other thing I want to do is, actually what I want to focus on today is actually getting this Twitch embed directly on this site. Question is, how am I going to do that? It's probably just going to be some basic HTML. I did want to make a quick call out too, based on my agenda here. I'm going to walk through basically what I have now, which is I started creating these YouTube ready images, mainly because I'm using YouTube as like my archive. I think that's pretty common for most streamers, or yeah, I think so. Yeah, because some of this content's like not like some of this content you probably are. I'm probably not gonna watch 6 months from now, but it's nice to have like a history, especially for building, since I have a whole section and a whole like thought around building this mutual fund site. So it's nice to have that sort of history somewhere in like a playlist. So that's what I'm working on now, which is number 5 of all this stuff. If I went to, well, I guess I could have just went to. Oh, looks like I don't even have the. Oh, you know what? That's weird. I'm noticing that the change that I did with that I did on Friday is actually not showing. So I wonder why. There should be a link that says view from. Sorry, I'm like not speaking out loud, but basically there should be a link that takes you to GitHub. That's what I worked on Friday. Yeah, which is right here. The question is, why is this not the latest version? So I'm just gonna take a quick tour through there. But basically I just wanted to walk through the fact that this site itself now has images. I've also cleaned up the titles a bit for the issues. So if you went to the closed issues, if you want to look to archive for this way, you can actually see. I'm starting to try to label the ones that have like friends. I'll probably start labeling these making mutual fund. It's what I'm calling this sort of series or type of videos, and yeah, that way I can always go back and like look at what I'm sort of trying to focus on, or what I'm trying to build. Hey. All right. So, and I think the reason why, like, I want to be able to archive and catalog this stuff is because, for the most part, I tend to go back to some of this content and leverage it as a way for myself to remind myself of how I approached a certain subject or a topic. I bring that up because on yesterday, I had a planned stream where I was actually going to focus on a podcast, which I did, but I actually did not do it on stream. Instead, I just played Rocket League. But I will need to update this post. Sorry, I will need to update this with the latest post. So I have episode 73 out. I'll do that after or later tonight. Published it this morning. And basically just kicking off this podcast again as another place for myself to have a thought or a place to talk about some of the stuff I'm doing that's not video ready. So like when I talk through my thought process. Anyway, what I'm doing exactly right now is what I would do on this podcast. So I'll move on for that, but I just wanted to basically to show that I'm fixed up some of the issues and how I'm labeling them. Now, I don't know how I'm going to basically leverage that filter or that label system, or if I'm going to do anything with it. Who knows? But I'm looking forward just to having like a clear structure. I'm also wearing the same sweater in this picture as what I'm on. I took this like right before I got on. Yeah, so there's that. And then the other thing was I needed to figure out why this deploy, which is the master deploy, so this deploy itself works, but when I deployed something, it didn't work. I'm not sure why that doesn't work at all. But, oh, you know, maybe it's just cache. I don't know. Oh, I'm also looking at this URL. So let me see if I put in a private browser. It might be a caching thing. It might the caching might be super aggressive. Yeah, it is a caching thing. All right, so forget I've even looked into that. I think it's just a, yeah, I know it's a caching thing because I have a link right here. Is that weird that you're seeing? Anybody who's interested, this is Emmett. Emmett is 6 years old and he's done with school today. So he's hanging out with me. And he's showing you his tooth.
And it's coming out.
It's coming out. It'll probably come out either tonight at dinner or probably while you're sleeping. Who knows? I told him when I was a kid I'd use pliers to take my teeth out. I'm not going to do that for him, but if he wants to do it himself, that's an option. All right, so let's go to the terminal. Actually, let me just go to GitHub because I know exactly what I need. And I'm probably just going to grab that entire, because this is HTML, I'm just going to grab this mutual fund section. Should probably had that. I like that tagline, let's code together too as well. That's right here. Should probably copy that too as well. And okay. Yeah, it's just this iframe. Yeah, I think this is pretty much all it is. It's this iframe right here. So what I'm gonna do is actually go into grab my mutual fund project. Go ahead and big that for anybody who's following along. All right, so I'll grab that. Also curious, I almost tweeted this out before I jumped on, but I'm curious if anybody is familiar with Playwright or Puppeteer. I might have a little more focused video on that in the future. I'm trying to solve a problem today for work using that technology or that GitHub projects, NPM packages, and hit a bit of a ceiling, but hopefully taking a break now from that and doing this will, I guess, alleviate my brain fart, I guess, of how to approach that. Just trying to do some trivial data entry stuff that I don't want to do manually. Sweet. All right, so I've got this iframe here, which, okay, this header is throwing me off because this is not completely aligned. It's not a big deal. But I think all those links actually the links here or where all that comes from. So I could literally just copy this entire section over because it's all, again, HTML. It might be a little messy and I could clean this up later, but I think I might even just do that. I think using the one blog here. This might get a little confusing. Actually, I should start using VS Code too. Maybe I'll. Told myself I'd actually start using this more. I guess I could just, yeah. The one thing that prevents me from using this, and it's kind of silly, is that I haven't set up the command line to make sure I can open this from the command line. So what I mean by, I should just be able to say code, period, and that doesn't work. So like, how does that work? Let me see. Visual Studio command line open. This is not quite what I'm looking for. Open the terminal in Visual. I want the inverse of that, but I'll figure that out again. But I have VS Code here. I've got my project here as well. I don't need to welcome. I don't even know if. Oh, actually, this get big. Later, please. All right. So I have this project, and I know there's like a index.html. So yeah, I'm looking at this, and this, for some reason, when I don't look at this in Vim, it just looks completely foreign to me. So what I'll do, oh, sorry, Kermit, I saw you. You just jumped in. Hello, welcome, Kermit the Frog. Do I know anything about bias? Yes. No. Is that a Windows question? But yeah, that is a Windows question. I haven't used that in forever. I only just recently got a Windows machine after like 8-year hiatus, mainly to play games, and that was the last time I had a Windows machine, was for gaming. So yeah, no, sorry, I can't help you there. But yeah, good luck. But if you want to watch me do some simple HTML, you're in the right place. All right, so what I need to do is find out, you know what? I was going to try to do Visual Studio Code, but I'm trying to do too many things at once. I'm just going to use Vim. I don't know, it's like the muscle memory is like, it's where it's at. All right, so I wanted to throw some basic HTML on the page. I know that let me see this, index.html. The way this works, the create React app, it actually has a public folder, yes, and has an index.html. So I could, I guess that gets built. So I can't actually do that. But I could go into the app.js, find out where the rest of the code is. So something like the header, and then this is where all the posts are returned. So I wonder where I can find wherever the post plural is embedded. I think the way it was explained to me on Friday is that, and if you weren't here on Friday in the chat, We actually, it was pretty happening. We had like 4 or 5 people in the chat. 2 of the guys from one graph who were helping me out on figuring out how to set up the simple linking. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Definitely checked out that video. It's number 4 of the series. All right, so let's see. Post. Oh, here it is. This is. I wonder if I just do like a foo. So my debugging is going to be foo. Oh, you know what? I didn't even start the server too. You all right? What's up?
I came on the chocolate yesterday, but then you asked Mom about that.
Oh, the chocolate? Oh, like the chocolate bunny? Yeah, you have to ask her when she gets back. I don't know where any of that stuff is. Yesterday was Easter, and we had Easter basket.
It's chocolate. This amiibo cards.
Yeah, we got these amiibo cards for Animal Crossing, so that was a lot of fun. Also, just call out that my putting random food there, it worked. So there we go. Excellent. Just want to check something real quick. Want to see. All right. Yeah, I was just checking to see if the Twitch chat. It was supposed to hover. Like I've got it actually printing to the screen. So, but I never look at the screen. Look at the stream whenever a chat comes through. So I need to test that later. All right, where were we? Oh, so basically I just threw a big foo. Was it here? No. Threw a bunch. Oh, here we go. Foo. I threw a big foo right here in the middle of this. That was intentional. I wanted to see what would happen. Let me see. All right. Yeah. So next step is going to be, instead of putting that foo, I mean, ideally, one could just put all that HTML directly here. So let me just throw that iframe there. Not my best work, but let's see here. Actually, yeah, it's just this iframe right here. Everything else is I guess we would call it gravy in the biz. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, there we go. That was almost too easy. I think I will stick with the iframe. I'm just not convinced that that's like the location I want it, but what I think I'm gonna do is, yeah, it's also not abiding by my margin either. I guess I need like a left pad.
No.
Nope. And yeah, so oop, one sec. Oops, sorry about that. Had a phone call I had to take.
It never even waits.
It never even waits. That's a good one. All right, I'm just trying to figure out why. Well, one, I'm looking at myself. Oh, so it's this padding right here. So my iframe needs some padding. So if I drop that on there, Oop, you okay? If I did that, does it line up? No, it doesn't. How's it? Can I have margin? I guess I can put padding on an iframe, but I could do margin. I don't know. Shooting in the dark here. Oh, Emmett, sit down, please. You're making me nervous. I don't know. I've never had the style in iframe. You have any thoughts on this, Emmett?
Yeah.
What do you think I should be doing?
Doing something else with work.
Doing something else besides work?
I mean, doing something else with doing work.
All right. Oh, I should probably explain the question. So the question is, I would like to make sure that this corner of that box lines up with this M. So how do you think I can fix that? Oh, I see where it is. I'm adding the styling to the wrong place. I think I figured it out. I mean, still can't do padding, which I think makes sense. Oh, okay. So let me just refresh this because I keep adding styling to like the wrong part of the iframe when I should just add it to the root of the iframe itself. I did not realize I was looking at such a nested piece of technology here. All right, so let me find this iframe player, the body here, player UI, player video, player dark. Okay, that's what it is. So I kept seeing this HTML and thinking this was the top of the page, but it wasn't. It's actually the HTML inside of the iframe. So what I want to do is actually, and I can embiggen this too since most people weren't seeing this. I was trying to add some padding directly to everything else that was in the iframe. I guess all the stuff under the nested inside the iframe. So iframes are giant pieces of HTML web pages, which is a beautiful technology. And what I did notice is that with the iframe, or sorry, with everything else that I have on the page, it's got a padding of 24. But I'm also realizing like my header also probably has a margin. So let me discover this iframe again. Margin 24px. I mean, that's where I want. Yeah. And if I look at it, it looks pretty in line. So I think I'm gonna go with that. Yeah. And I think I'm actually gonna be as bold as, let me just pull in. I don't actually remember where I got most of this code from. I think it was all outside the player. Actually, this came from. Yep. Okay, thanks, bud. All this other code came directly from this template, which I don't think I want to bring this over. I'll figure all that out. But I do want something like this. But for now, what I'll do is I'll commit having the iframe on the page and then think about what I want to do next. I didn't really come here prepared with like designs or anything like that. Kind of like the way it looks, the simplicity. Excellent. So, all right, adds Twitch iframe. You know what? I also realize Emmett. What are you saying? Why are you saying cheeseburger? Oh, the cheeseburger? Yes. That was... I forget that's there. But yeah, I added the cheeseburger emoji there. A long time ago. Adds Twitch player. Excellent. So, what I think I want to do, since I have the player there, there's two other things I want to do. I want to add the chat directly to the page. But before I can add the chat, I think this is going to get really busy. So I wanted to see how to instead, and I realized, did I stash? Yeah, stash pop. Okay, it's Twitch player iframe. Now, I'm sure I could add like a much nicer player in the future. I think, oh, you know, I need to add some CSS too to fix that too as well. I have no idea how CSS works here in this. So when I guess inherited one blog, oh, and I think I know how it works. It's app CSS. When I inherited the one blog, I didn't make any decisions on the structure of it, mainly because it gave me so much for free. I should make this possibly, I don't know if it really needs to be alphabetical order. No, whatever. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just inheriting whatever the basic create React app gives you. And because I think I went way too long on another video last week about Razzle, and Razzle's not much. It's like a light layer on top of create React app. And so if I knew create React app, which I do, I'm able to sort of navigate as much as I need. So with that being said, there's no routing really set up. I mean, React Router is actually on here, but I don't know why. But because of that, I can make all my own decisions, whatever I want. So it's got hot reloading, so I'm not sure why I hard refreshed. But I'm just gonna add my padding 24px. Excellent. All right. Yeah, I think in the future, I mean, what would be really nice is only show this player if I'm live. That would be great. So I'm curious if there's like it's a JavaScript, if the page, oh, well, I'm using Netlify functions. So I could probably create like a little check to see if on air function. And if their function is on air, then go ahead and show this iframe. And if not, don't show it. And that might get me around needing to add navigation to the page for now. Oop, Emmett, I'm gonna need this. Need my keyboard. Thanks, bud. So yeah, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna approach it that way. Excellent. So yeah, sorry, I'm just thinking, is there really no routes? Yeah. I'm just gonna double check. It's interesting. Oh, reach router. I don't know the difference between reach router and React router. And I'm just double checking to see if I'm gonna overcomplicate it or not, or if I should just, oh, documentation. I know that guy. So it's installed. I don't know why, but if I added a path, I can then, yeah, perhaps I'll do that. Yeah, I'm trying to contemplate whether or not I should be showing this or not, because I would honestly I would prefer it to be as simple as this, and then you click through to see all this context, because like there's very few situations probably where you need to see every single one of these things. Also, yeah, I just wanted to see how far it went down. Also, just FYI, I put myself on every single one of these, so this is like maybe it's overkill. I'm contemplating whether I need to actually put my face on that or not. Probably won't. I think moving forward, I'll probably just have a screenshot. All right. Yeah. So I think that's where I'm gonna go. I definitely should probably have a footer and add this stuff. Yeah, it sounds good. All right. So what's next? Embed Twitch. Yep. So I think I'll just focus on creating that second page. And since reach router is already here, instead of doing a net left by function, I'm just trying to make sure the scope doesn't get all wacky, because I can get a little overzealous on what I'm trying to do. So if I grab the router, and I assume that it needs to be in the root component, because I understand the reach router is very similar to React router. So, am I still in the one blog? Okay. Interesting. Oh, the router is being used. Oh, the router is being used because you're actually navigating. Yeah, the router's used here. You're actually navigating this way. Duh. Okay, for some reason I was thinking this is all single page. And it is, but it's not. All right, so because I was basically dancing around needing to add a router or not, and I don't have to because there is a router. So I am gonna create a whole nother page. Yeah, and I'm just gonna shove all this stuff behind a link that says schedule. And I think the best part would be, or the best step would just have like some sort of sub header link that can link to the schedule or archive or whatever, and then probably to Twitch and YouTube and GitHub. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna do that. Excellent. All right, so I have a router. What's the first step of? I think I might just add another path inside the router, or I guess another route. right, so while I type, I'm going to mute myself and just type through. If you do pop in the chat, just feel free to chat with me. If not, I'm just going to listen to music and type. Actually, I think I'm thrown off because the syntax looks like you name your routes the same name as your component. But what's throwing me off is that this code is actually using route. So I'm curious to see what version reach router 1. This is a crazy old version. All right. So I guess that's where I'm thrown off. It's because the older version is not what I'm looking at. So I wonder. 1.2, I guess it's not really that crazy old. But if the API changed, yeah, if the API changed to not use routes, then that's confusing. So I don't know. I guess the best thing I could do is probably just do it and then see what happens. All right, so man, and this is like definitely something I don't really spend a lot of time in, or I avoid, is routing in single page apps. Yeah, so based on this, I should, but then, oh, you know, let me check Razzle real quick and see routing, if there's something also I need to, because I don't really need server-side rendering. I mean, I probably do need it, but I don't know. But also what I could do is just see syntax error. Well, that won't work. All right, well, I won't do what's in the docs, I guess. Oh, what am I looking at? This router, route. I mean, my expectation would be inside this router element, without touching anything else, this should take another route. In this route config, it seems to be something dynamic, so perhaps I should look up to see where these routes are coming from. Yeah, so I guess the way it's identifying the routes from the post. it works that way. So if I wanted to add a whole nother route, it should go here and someday I'll learn how to spell schedule too as well. Okay, something to do with child. Oh, excuse me. Oh. All right. Well, I figured that one out. All right, so nothing's broken, but what happens when I go to the slash schedule? Don't get it quite a 4 to 4 or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know. But I figured out that I should call this route. Okay. Oh, not route. Schedule. Okay. So now I have a component that's undefined, so maybe I can find older documentation, reach router, or figure out why. Documentation that focuses on using the route component instead of random components. Yeah, because what's throwing me off is the reach router docs. Reach router docs. Yeah. Oh, maybe that's what it was. Route component. No. Nope. Can I just call route? All right. So this is what I want. And this is usually how I solve routing. Is just copy directly from the docs and then see it work in my page. Oh, so I wonder if it's the naming. If I create another component for just the schedule and make it a truly a single page app, just like old school, the way I used to do it, reminds me of Ember. So if I go back to my route, I've got helmet here. Theme. It's not really what I wanted. I wonder where I can find the title. heading, host box. That was loud. Well, I feel like I'm close. So this is the header. This is this. Let's see here. Oh, you know, also I can look at the like, what if I find out where this is? Styled box, styled heading, iframe. Oh yeah, just look above my iframe. Dear, okay. Let me widen this out. So I think I need to spend like maybe Friday. I'll just spend the day just trying to learn Visual Studio Code because I feel like I should know how that works. Oh, why am I getting so lost? Yeah, so this is where I want to put this. Links. All right. Yeah. So that way I can at least navigate through something that's a bit prettier than Vim. I guess my Vim's okay. All right. So what I want to do is link to not the dashboard, but oh, everything's gone. Yeah. I think the easiest way to get this to work is do it that way. And like ideally this would be its own component. What is it? Why am I blanking on oh, it's this. Comments. This should be a component. Probably this. All right. So this will be a component here. But for now, I've got links to home and then link to, not to schedule. Okay. Okay. So if I created a component that said schedule in it, let's see, schedule, home, dashboard. What am I doing? All right. I've somehow pasted that twice, or I'm not sure how that copied, but all right. So if I go back to reach router and let's copy this completely with no shame. All right. So I've grabbed, I guess this should actually not live in here. Should be here, and like I'm not even confident. Yeah. There we go. So if I rename this to gotcha. All right, for the sake of the, yeah, I guess I don't need dashboard. What I want though is, or I don't need home. What I want to do is see if this works. So like, I guess the way the routers work is they infer a lot of stuff, but I don't know. I'm not even sure. I'm just inferring. All right. Component undefined, cannot read. So do I need to make it like a legit? I mean, it's a legit component. Yeah. Schedule. So now let's go back to this and figure out how this actually works. Because dashboard's defined, uses dashboard, has a link. And the link's not the problem either, so. Yeah, it doesn't really seem like much is actually happening here to be able to go from, oh, you know what? That's as simple as it goes. Because even this, it doesn't actually change. It changes to H2. It doesn't. Oh, this is a tutorial. Oh. I'm like copy and pasting, and it's a tutorial, not documentation. Okay. So I need to also have a router that identifies that too. That I guess maps it to one-to-one. But do I need to also explicitly say what component I'm looking for? No. No, it looks like it just links that to that. Because if I go to invoice 1, it still changes. All right, so let me add this down to my router, just as it says, and then see if that works. Router. Ooh. Oh, I have one here. Well, for the sake of this, I'm just gonna copy one-to-one all this stuff. I don't need invoices, but I think what I'm gonna do is just see if the basics work. And this is how I learned years ago how I learned Redux. Is I just went directly to the docs and copy and pasted exactly what the working version is. I forgot what the example was, but it was something super trivial to show how data flows. Oh, a counter. I copy and pasted the counter directly into the project I was working on, made sure the counter was working, and then I expanded from there. And I wrote tests too. All right, so if I add more to the links, will it change the word from dashboard to breaking code? Here we go. All right, that's the welcome. So I mean that works, but that's not what I was looking for. Welcome. Excellent. Well, I guess it does work. So then my question is, should I just throw the iframe in there? So at this point, I'm not really tracking towards something working. I'm just tracking towards learning how to make this work. Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen. So there's gonna be a lot of cleanup here, but I think what I'm gonna do is follow that same pattern with the reach router docs, where I'm gonna kick out what I want into separate components, and then that way I'll have a nav. But I've got to basically what I need to do is actually move a bunch of stuff outside this post routes, or perhaps even where's my router? What makes it hard is everything's in one file, so I'm like trying to figure out this, but I'll give it a squint. I think is what I'll do now. Yeah, so I've got the router is here. Okay, so the router is in like the I see what's gonna happen. Okay, so this app.js it's a giant file with a bunch of different stuff going on. And what I'm trying to do is I want to just have regular nav. So if I went to going back to mutualfun.live, I just want to have like the header there, and then have the child components or anything in below the header present dynamic content based on what link I'm on. So right off the bat, I should see this when I open the page. If I'm not having a stream, then I'll probably do something dynamic and show that on and off. But what I'm getting at is that all the stuff is just jumbled in the one giant component here. And I need to start piecemealing this into its own separate stuff. And I think that's where I'm sort of falling over. Because now what I'm doing, just by testing this, I have a whole another home component, and I've defined what the root, basically the naked slash would be. I don't know what to call that. Anyway, just a backslash with no defined. Oh, it's interesting. I guess I should just call it that. Okay. But yeah, I think I've sort of figured out the path I need to go down. Since I hitting a bunch of ceilings, I guess, on some of this code, I might even just go ahead and end it there, and then take this offline and maybe just have a summary on Wednesday of what I did. Yeah, because there's gonna be a bit of cleanup, and I'll probably end up just doing this in silent while watching TV or something like that, because I think that's what I need. But yeah, this has been Mutual Fun. Hopefully you enjoyed the video if you're watching this, or you're watching it after the fact. Just gonna call out and say the site will be working mostly by this week. The hope is to have a proper place to sort of kick out like this long list of things, and perhaps even, yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. If the stream's not on, probably to show this, and if the stream is on, then show the stream. So something dynamic like that, that it actually checks for you. I don't even think I need a function for that, really. But I wanna store that in context. But yeah, that'd be an interesting problem. I don't even know how I would approach that in like a Jamstack way, because that's what I'm doing. I have a site with no real backend other than GitHub. But yeah, excellent. So yeah, if you are interested in following more of this, or maybe you stumbled on here for whatever reason, highly recommend giving a star or follow onto the repo itself. And yeah, check back again on Wednesday, same time Wednesday. The plan is to do 1 to 2 hours. I was gonna do 1 hour today because I had a hard stop at 3, which I just went over. But Wednesday's planning for roughly 90 to like 120 minutes is the goal on that day. And yeah, probably going to, if I can finish this routing thing, I'll probably try to focus on trying to embed a chat into the page. Mainly so that people can just organically find themselves there. And I'll probably also, if I don't get to it, I will attack the getting the header up there as well. Well, I think when I get the routing done, I'll actually have all that done up there. So yeah, again, it's been mutual fun. So thanks very much for chatting with me, and I'll see you next time.